I mean, someplace near.
Yeah. For those of you in the back, there are seats if you want to try and sit down. With some on the side over here. It's up to you. I'm just saying. Then we're gonna start. We just can't really conduct any official business until 3 more people come into the fence. So, I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome everybody to the March full board meeting of Manhattan Community Board 8. If this is your first time in the room, we will start off with the public session. Each speaker will have, I think we have enough time for 2 minutes. As I've said in other meetings, respect is not only requested, it's required. If you go beyond your time limit, you can see your time on this, whatever you call it, clock, in the room and on Zoom. I don't know if we have any Zoom speakers tonight. I'm assuming we have at least one.
Yes, we do.
Since we always have one. And we'll start I urge you, if your phone is on, please put it on vibrate, as a courtesy to everyone in the room. I'm Valerie Mason. I'm the chair of Community Board 8. To my right is Ian McKnight, who is our district manager. To my left is Lindsay Cormack, who is one of our secretaries. Our other secretaries are en route. And in the first couple of rows in the room are the members of the community board. So thank you for coming. Ian's going to start by announcing names. If you hear your name, just come up along the side. We only ask that you start your 2 minutes by saying who you are and where you live. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to take the mic here. We are going to call a few people at a time. When I call your name, you can come up and line up and speak into this microphone, please. We're going to start with Ryan Badger, Alina Boncel, and Michael Grocius.
Good evening, my name is Ryan Badger. I'm speaking on behalf of Pure Vida Miami. Do you want me to use my full 2 minutes?
You can start.
Okay. Speaking on behalf of our patios seating this evening, we participated in the local community board meeting and would like the community to know that their feedback was heard. We're committed to facilitating the right of way and ensuring smooth traffic there. And we look forward to serving the neighborhood this summer season. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alina Boncel. I'm a resident of Yorkville, on 82nd Street. And I just have a question for the board. I'd like us to be walked through the formal process the community board is required to follow when a shelter is proposed. Specifically, what steps are taken to notify and involve the community? And at what stage are residents supposed to have input?
Okay, that's a question for me. The only thing I can tell you is that the community board has no input into the formal process. It's a mayoral organization. It's a city department. All we are not required, all that the HSS is required to do is to notify us that there is a shelter and ask for a presentation. And
That's not really addressing my question. I'm asking timelines. Just explain to us the timelines and how the whole thing is involved, and at what stage is the community supposed to be involved, and what steps are taken to ensure the community is involved and has input.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a timeline.
Okay, I just gave you the timeline. I'll give it to you again. We are notified by HSS that they are putting a shelter in place, and they ask us to have a meeting where they can do a presentation. There is no essential timeline in terms of when they notify us, in terms of it doesn't have to be 60 days before. It's a presentation, which we had, and they come and they do whatever they want. And the community comes, and that is all that is required. There's no, we notify people of our meetings through our usual channels, which is our agenda. We actually put up flyers for the meeting, and that is the process.
So what you're saying is that you didn't know about the shelter until we were notified as a community in late January?
I received the notification on, I believe, January 8th or January 10th, that they were intending on putting the shelter sometime in March and April, or April. And, at that time, of the notification, it was supposed to be a shelter for 200 men. We tried as quickly as we can. As you can see, we don't have the community space, so we have to go around and get space for a meeting. And as soon as we had a date, which was in February, that was the next time we could have a meeting, and that's when we had a meeting, and that's when we notified people that there would be a meeting.
Okay, so you were not notified until.
Is this across the
No, I'm
board?
just trying to understand.
I think I said it twice now.
No, because the community didn't have input, which.
Well, we
you know,
didn't
were
have input
blindsided
either.
by it, so we wanted to understand how the process
Well,
worked.
we have,
So,
we were in,
we have follow-up questions.
okay, we had no other information than what you had. I said, I'll say this to everybody in the room. HS, if you want to have a shelter in your building, you are within your rights to send the application for your property and you send it to HSF. And then technically, your site is under consideration. That is the process. HSS does not have to go out and look for a shelter site. Anybody in the city of New York who owns a piece of property, who wants to have it converted into a shelter, can apply to HSS. This is, the community board only has a specific involvement in the ULURP process, which are changes in land variances and zoning. And we have a process in terms of the state liquor authority. Everything else is, I mean, this is, HSS is a mayoral agency. I understand that everyone is upset. Not everyone, but people in this room tonight are upset about the process. The process has been the same process as I understand it for HSS for many, many years. It's like many things in this city. I understand that people have filed a lawsuit perfectly within your rights. I have done that myself as an individual with respect to other aspects of how the government works. That is completely within your rights. I can just tell you that, there's no direct avenue for community input except to reach out to your council person and follow your lawsuit if you think that's appropriate, Article 78, if you don't think that the procedure was appropriate. But I know that many of you came to the presentation asking, why didn't we put a school there? It's a completely different agency with a completely different set of rules and procedures. And, you know, I understand that most of you find that answer unsatisfactory. I'm not saying that I find it satisfactory, but that is the way the government works. And unfortunately, many times you only are, when you are, or seemingly directly affected by something, that now your sensitivity is raised and you find yourselves in the same position as every other community in the city of New York. I will tell you that I go to monthly meetings with the 11 other chairs of community boards in Manhattan. And the same concerns that were raised at the presentation that they did in February are raised in every other community about placements of shelters. So I know there's no comfort for those of you in the room who are not in favor of the shelter to hear that, but that is the process in the city of New York. And I don't know what else to tell you, but we can say a lot of different things. I just want to say this, that we are not done with the shelter system as a topic that, our community board is planning on having a presentation probably this time in the spring, now that you're all aware of our calendar, those of you who may not have been aware before, to look at other alternatives, and look at the shelter system and perhaps other different ways of doing it. And we would invite you to come to that. We are hoping to put together a panel of various groups that are advocates for different models of shelter. My organization, runs a shelter downtown, one of my not-for-profits through the shelter system. You know, we have a completely different model, than the model that's proposed at 61st Street. Is she here? But, so I would shelter. I would just say that, you're more than welcome to participate in that aspect. I will tell you that the board overwhelmingly supported the shelter in our last meeting, and that, again, while the attendance in this room tonight, I feel, is partisan against the shelter, I stand by my remarks that many people did contact the board and that they were in favor of the shelter. I will also say this, let me finish, Barbara. I will also say that, I think you're probably aware that there is a shelter in Community Board 6 that is closing, at least, temporarily while they renovate it. And that shelter had capacity for almost 600 to 800 people in it. So, again, I just put forth, there are a lot of governing issues here, which also talk about fair share of social services. Again, other community boards in the same block, on the same block, have a homeless shelter, a methadone clinic, and a preschool, all on the same block. So, this is an urban community. There's nothing more I can say about it. Now, Barbara, what do you want to say?
I just want to say, I understand that people are worried about the shelter, but it does bother me if people have negative things to say about the community board. I'm
I don't
very
think
proud of
anybody
what
said
you and
anything.
Ian did. I'm sorry, I'm going to answer this. You and Ian, I was on a pre-call. You worked so hard at getting a place near the place so that people would get there. It was 0-degree weather. You actually, I don't know where the money came from, but actually something we've never done, paid so that we would get a good place. You made sure it was open and well run. There is nothing that I'm very, very proud of how the community board handled it, quite truthfully.
I appreciate that. That's okay. But I do want to say that I do understand that people are upset.
Me too.
You look, I mean, it may very well be that the lawsuit, goes forward and prevents the opening of the shelter. And there are gonna be people, if that happens, there'll be people in the room who feel good about that, but there will be probably even more people in the room that are upset about that. So everyone is entitled to their opinion, and, you know, we have been advocating for the community. There are other shelters in this community which we are completely involved with in terms of what they call a community advisory board. We meet all the time with the relevant stakeholders, and we together try to resolve issues in a very collaborative, positive way for both the clients of the shelter and the community as a whole. And the only thing I can convince you is that we will continue to do that. And I hope you appreciate that. And as I said in the earlier meeting, there are shelters here. You don't even know that they exist. And that is really what you're striving for. And I think that if the lawsuit is unsuccessful, I wouldn't, to be honest with you, put too much hope in the TRO that was issued the other day. But if the lawsuit is not successful, I will tell you, I mean, I don't know if Judy Schneider is in the room, but she represents the East Sixties Neighborhood Association, is also on our community board. There are a lot of stakeholders, and there will be involvement with this community, with the council person from this district, who happens to also be the speaker of the city council, the NYPD. And we will work this out together. It's not gonna be a perfect rollout. No, it never is. There's nothing in this city that is a perfect rollout. Everyone on this community board knows that in particular and in general. But I can tell you that we will do everything that we can, because we already do it, to ensure that things are done safely. You heard that from the deputy inspector of the community of the 19th precinct. This morning, we had a meeting with the chief of Manhattan North, which is the overseeing body to the 19th precinct. The first question we talked about was homelessness and the concerns of the community. So this is uppermost in everyone's mind. And we live in a very safe community. No one is interested in making it less safe. We're all interested in making it more safe. And so regardless of how the lawsuit turns out, we are committed to working with everyone that's in this room and beyond to make sure that the homeless people in our city are treated with dignity and respect, as well as the residents of this community. And that is the commitment I can make to you this evening. So if you are signed up to speak, let's go to our next speaker, okay?
And I'll briefly add for the folks at home who want to check it out, Administrative Code Section 21-324, 21-324 outlines the community involvement process in shelter siting. So it's thrilling stuff. 21-324 of the Administrative Code. All right, next up, one more call for Michael Brocious. Michael Bailey, if you're in the room, I see that you are on Zoom, and so we'll come to you later in the Zoom section. Audrey Gar, Ayushi Patipati, Nuha Ansari, who I believe couldn't make it tonight. That's our next round. Any of those folks here? No? All right. Shelby Semel, Matt Bauer, Liz Daly, and Audrey Gar. All right, I see we have some folks there. That's great.
Hi, serial number, address. My name is Shelby. My family and I have lived on 60th and First for the past decade, in very close proximity to the proposed women's shelter. From my window, we used to look out onto medical offices. And now we look directly onto a chain link enclosed rooftop smoking area and into tightly packed dorm rooms intended to house hundreds of women. By background, I work with animals, and for the past 10 years, I brought therapy dogs to the inmates on Rikers Island. If the shelter was going to be dog friendly, I'd genuinely love to volunteer. I've also spent many years working with youth offenders and volunteering with children in underserved communities, many of whom were experiencing housing instability. Those experiences have given me a clear understanding of what different living environments actually feel like, not just in a presentation, but how they function day to day. Following the DHS presentation on February 8th, I've become deeply concerned about the proposed plan to house the 200 women, many escaping domestic violence and homelessness in a congregate setting like this. The plan shows extremely dense rows of beds, up to 15 in a room, minimal privacy, and shared facilities with very limited access to restroom and showers. I've seen institutional housing, and even by those standards, this falls short of what these women deserve. I say that carefully based on what I've seen firsthand and what I look at every single day from my home, from my bedroom, from my children's bedrooms, and our kitchen table. This is not about opposing shelters. It's about ensuring that we are truly capable of serving those women in need while also maintaining safety and confidence for the surrounding community. we still have an opportunity as a community to come together and insist that this is done the right way. Because if this moves forward as is, it sets a precedent, not just for this district, but for the entire city, about what kinds of conditions we are willing to accept for our less fortunate neighbors. And I would love to be a part of the panel.
Yeah, that's great. We would love to have you. I don't think that you're saying anything different than what we were saying too. I mean.
Didn't know you would say it.
Oh, no, that's right. No, that's fine. I appreciate the commentary. Go ahead, Chad.
Hey, hi, everyone. Change this a little bit. I'm Matt Bauer. I'm the director of the Madison Avenue Business Improvement District. And Saturday is International Fragrance Day. No.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Samples?
Excuse me.
Do you have any samples for us?
You will
Oh.
visit Madison Avenue this Saturday at 18 stores between 57th and 85th Street. So from Isa to Virawang. Virawang has a new fragrance launch that day. And we have samples. You could get some discounts and other things for the new collections that are opening up. So you can visit our website, MadisonAvenueBid.org, and see all the events that are happening not only on Saturday, International Fragrance Day, but throughout Madison Avenue Fragrance Week. Thank you so much.
Okay.
My name is Audrey Barr. I am at 2 Sutton Place. I only have a question.
Okay.
How many fatalities does it take for a shelter to be closed? Since you are very familiar with shelters. Fatalities. How many fatalities does it take for a shelter to be closed?
In the shelter or?
Are you saying in the shelter?
With people, with kids around in general, because I can see, since they're going to be so close to Home Depot, they are able to buy anything and hurt people.
Okay.
The people that are going there are not vetted.
Okay, I don't think that, yeah, I don't think it's been tested, it's never happened. I will just tell you that 2 men were arrested, who came here from another state with, nails and whatever, and they weren't homeless. So I think it's a false equivalency to start talking about homeless people and the fact that the homeless shelter is gonna be across the street from Home Depot. You're entitled to your opinion, and I thank you for sharing it, but we don't have any statistics about fatalities. And fatalities encompass a lot of things. I mean, somebody can die of an overdose, that's a fatality. So,
Involving other people.
involving other people, I'm not aware of any, but we can find out and report back. We can ask HSS for statistics, but, that's all I can say. I know that at our presentation, or at the presentation made by HSS, it was not our presentation, somebody in the community made a reference to, the murder of a child outside a homeless shelter in Queens. We didn't have the information available to us, the community board that night, but unfortunately, that child was murdered by its own father, so it had nothing to do with it. It wasn't just some passerby who was, attacked. So my heart goes out to that family, but it had nothing to do with.
Yeah, so not only Home Depot, also right across the street, there is a place where they sell marijuana.
Well, that is legal in this state,
Exactly,
so
so it calls for a lot of fatalities in that.
I don't, you're saying something, but you don't have any facts to back it up. I don't think that, there are state legislative representatives in the room. You can talk to them about that, but I don't think that we have any proof of, fatalities related to that. I hear what you're saying. I just wish you would keep an open mind. We've had a new homeless shelter open for 6 months and we haven't had, any fatalities. And we've had a homeless shelter where 80 mentally ill women have lived over the last 30 years. And I don't recall, there are people in this room, we have not had one fatality, and whichever way you describe fatality. So I would, if you want historical evidence, I would point to that as a shelter in this neighborhood that has had absolutely no consequences of a negative sport in this neighborhood. Okay, next up. Oh, this was, okay, happy but sad presentation. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Rosedale, I'm the head of Visitor Services and Government Affairs at the Frick Collection. And I'm here tonight to tell you about our two new exhibitions. The first one we just opened is called Gainsborough, the Fashion of Portraiture. And it's the museum's first special exhibition dedicated to the artist, and the first devoted to Thomas Gainsborough portraiture ever held in New York City. And it will run through May 25th. And then opening on April 1st is Ruffles and Ribbons, fashion placed in the time of Marie Antoinette. And this is an installation of 24 hand-colored engravings that depict French fashion in the late 18th century, which come from the Frick Art Research Library's impressive collection of original prints. And this show will run through August 3rd. And we're open, the Frick is open 6 days a week from 10:30 to 5:30, Wednesdays through Mondays, we're closed on Tuesdays. We continue to offer free admission to youth between the ages of 10 and 18. And additionally, if you have a SNAP EBT card, you and free guests can visit at no free of charge. Payment to wish admission is offered on Wednesdays from 1:30 to 5:30. And lastly, Friday, April 3rd, we will have our second first Friday, first Friday evening, so there'll be free admission to the museum between 5:30 and 9 p.m. So I hope to see you there. If you come before March 31st, I will see you, otherwise March 31st will be my last day, so I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, just,
Thank you, this day, what an absolute pleasure it has been to have you coming through our meetings
and working with you as you represented the Frick through a lot of sometimes, treacherous, territory, but you have been a great friend to this community board. We so appreciate your support of our art fair and of the many things that we've done. We've seen you everywhere and it's been an absolute pleasure. And I just want to thank you so much. And I don't know how the Frick will replace you. You're a treasure. Thank you very much.
All right, next up is Christine Matthews from Hunter College. And then we'll do Nancy Sepe and Greg Martello after Christine.
If we call your name, it would just help things if you came up quicker to the side. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, members of the community board, friends and neighbors. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak here this evening. My name is Krista Matthews. I'm the Executive Director of Alumni Relations at Hunter College. I'm here this evening to share a plan for a temporary 3-week permanent installation on the iconic Lexington Avenue Skybridge, designed to celebrate the deep historic bond between Hunter College and the City of New York in honor of Hunter College's Alumni Weekend. This year, Alumni Weekend is going to be held Friday, April 17th and Saturday, April 18th. As we approach this celebratory weekend, the temporary vinyl decals will spell the word Hunter and will have Alumni Reunion 2026 on the 3rd floor Skybridge windows. This is a tribute to the generation of New Yorkers, our nurses, our teachers, and our civic leaders who have crossed that bridge to build their futures. The design is clean, professional, and respectful of the architectural character of Lexington Avenue. It serves as a visual welcome home to the hundreds of alumni that will be returning to the neighborhood. The installation will begin on March 25th and will be removed on April 19th. The decals are perforated so they won't block natural light. Materials are non-damaging, that does not leave residue on the glass, and these will be installed on the inside of the windows. They are simple to apply and easy to remove. Hunter is a public institution and we believe our campus belongs to the neighborhood. The installation serves as an invitation for you to join us. On that Saturday, April 18th at 3 p.m., we are hosting a public playwriting workshop in the Lowe Theater in collaboration with our MFA playwriting program. Also, at Roosevelt House, we have a series of events that are open to the public. Our latest program is tomorrow evening, and it is titled Bells Battles, the Activist and Icon Who Changed America. We also have the Loop Store Art Gallery that remains open to the public, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. We appreciate the notice. We do not have to approve this. Part of the reason for doing this tonight is so that everyone sees that it is temporary and may reduce the number of phone calls that we get from people asking us whether we've allowed some kind of permanent billboard, which we are not. So we appreciate you coming out, and we hope that your reunion event is a great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Nancy Seppi. I'm a resident of the East Sixties. And I just wanted, I felt the need to let you know that I support shelters. However, I support humane shelters. And based on the presentation that I saw in February's board meeting, I did not feel that this shelter is set up as a humane shelter. It does not give people dignity. There is no private or personal space. It is bad for health. Is it for colds, viruses, whatever? I just feel it's not a place that people would want to go to and they need to feel secure and have safety. Especially if we want them to get help and feel the need to prosper and go back into society. It's not therapeutic to be in those conditions of being bed after you could touch the next bed. It felt like looking at a jail cell with multiple beds, like you could reach out and touch the one. If you're in one bed, you could physically touch the other. I don't think anybody would want to be in those conditions. So I support shelters that are humane, and I think it would need to be more private and personal space. And it would be a functional shelter. It would actually do well, and I think it should start here on the Upper East Side in our community. And this shelter that's gonna come in at 1114 First Avenue should be where we start a humane shelter. And I think the Upper East Side deserves to have shelters like that, not the one that was presented to us. That's how I feel, and I would 100% support that.
Thank you very much.
The humane way.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Our last in-person speaker is Greg Martello.
Hey, welcome.
Hello, my name is Greg Martello. First, I want to thank the board for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I must say, I was the former president of the Tilden Club. And I have to say, I am envious of this community turnout, and I think that speaks to the leadership of the community board that can inspire such community turnout, and you all deserve a lot of credit for being so involved. Unfortunately, however, I too would like to add my voice to the opposition of the shelter for the reasons that have been stated thus far. And I want to make it clear that those that are opposed to the shelter are not opposed to shelters. We understand that shelters, as the board had indicated, are a vital necessity to the workings of this city. There are unfortunate New Yorkers that need shelters, and we have a moral obligation to provide them. But for the reason that was stated, I believe that this shelter is not only would not serve the purpose to help the residents, it's also going to hurt the neighborhood unfairly. I believe this shelter is not the proper size. It's being made in a makeshift fashion, and I believe that it actually is going to turn out to be cruel to the residents and not serve their needs. Furthermore, it is a densely residential area. There are young families, I see it all the time, young families that mothers, husbands with their little children in strollers all throughout I happen to live in the Sutton Place neighborhood. And again, we're not opposed to shelters, but there are more logical places that you could serve the needs of these very unfortunate New Yorkers. Have adequate structures set up and so that they will be properly serviced and the community won't be hurt. And then, and just in closing, I'd like to ask the board, you've done a great job. We appreciate your involvement in this. I would ask you to reconsider any endorsement of this shelter to use your profound influence on stopping this. And then I would ask all of you, whether you live in the Sutton Place neighborhood or you have friends and family, or you just simply live and you come there to visit, to dine there, to reach out to your elected officials and express your displeasure about this, because it will affect you and it will have a bad effect on those we're trying to help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, you live in CB6. And did everyone in this neighborhood come out against the shelter that's on 37th Street and First Avenue?
I beg your pardon?
What?
Yeah, I said, did you come out against the shelter that's on 37th Street and First Avenue, which is in your district? Yeah, okay.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, I mean, there's a shelter in your district. And that houses 800 people. I mean, I am a person who believes that the shelter system and the way they house people is not the optimal way to do it. But it's most shelters. First of all, I just want to say that no person is mandated to go to a shelter. So I think part of the success of the shelter will be if people actually go there. Even though it has room for 200 people, that doesn't mean that there are ever gonna be 200 people in it. People make their own decisions about whether they want to be in a room with 12 other people or 13 other people. I think that people who work with the homeless, and I've spoken to a lot of them, find that that is one of the reasons that people do not come off the street, because they do not feel comfortable going into such a communal setting. You know, you will hear other people say, the shelter setup is no different than an army barracks. So we're asking people who are fighting on behalf of the United States of America to live in a room with 30 people. If people need shelter, they should be prepared to do the same. I'm not saying that I agree with that, but it's an analogous communal living situation. But again, we're happy to entertain these comments, to make these comments to New York City about the way that HSS runs their shelter program. And again, I invite everyone, once we get this panel up and running, to come and make their comments. There are elected representatives in the room. They are hearing what you were saying. And, you know, people are listening, but I really don't think that, we've already voted on the fact that we are in favor of the shelter with all of its thorns, if you will. At least people will have a place to go if they choose to go there. So the success of the shelter from that point of view will be measured by how many clients they're able to get into the door. The city does not just take people off the street and say, you have to live here. So, I just want to say one more thing, because the shelter is not on the rest of our agenda tonight. And the thing I will say is, and I know you're going to find this really hard to believe, but in terms of the entire United States of America, New York City has the highest rate of finding housing for its homeless people in the United States. 97% of our homeless people do find housing, either temporary or permanent. It's way ahead of comparable cities such as San Francisco and Los Angeles that only house 70% or thereabouts of their homeless people. And I know you're gonna find this crazy, but people look to the New York City shelter model as one of the best in the country. Now, you can have your own opinions about that. I have my own opinions about that, but I'm just trying to give you some context. I appreciate everyone coming here tonight, and as I said, This is an ongoing discussion. And we appreciate all your comments and we appreciate all the visitors tonight from CB6 that are here. Thank you. Okay, well, we're moving to Zoom.
The Zoom portion of the evening.
And we're gonna have our traditional first speaker, right? Evelyn
We
Dave.
are.
Evelyn, what do you have to say?
Let me unmute you first, Evelyn. Give me just a moment to switch into Zoom.
I just wanna say just for those of you who don't attend regularly, this is the only opportunity for the public to speak tonight. We do not, once we go to our agenda, it's community board members only. So you're welcome to stay and listen, or you can continue watching on Zoom. And somebody's phone is going off. Thank you.
All right, Evelyn, I'm gonna unmute you in just a moment.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Such very, very serious topics. I feel like my topic is, well, it's rattling on about Park Avenue and the plowing and the snow plowing. And I know sanitation's not on tonight for the committee, but just a question if there's any kind of update from that meeting. And also, you know, about homeless shelters, I'm very happy that we're putting one in. Actually, I just saw on Facebook, which is like, they are taking care of homelessness, okay, in a myriad of different ways. And I know it's a tiny country and I know it's a different situation, but, you know, you have to tackle the issue. I teach school. Some of my children are in homeless shelters. They don't come in dirty. They're totally together. They're working students. They have a home, you know, they have a place to go to. So, you know, I think it's wonderful that we're doing this. Anyway, and having said that, the Park Avenue snow plowing is a mess. So any updates on the plow angle? Yeah.
Chuck Warren wants to tell you that the snow is all gone, at least for now. So,
I knew you were going to say that. No, but come on. Well, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
We are talking about it. I will tell you that, we're not the only community that was suffering from the way that the streets were plowed or lack thereof. And, it's an ongoing discussion with, the borough president's office, with sanitation, and, I think the new mayoral administration, tried to do a better job the second time around with the second snow. So,
Okay.
hopefully lessons learned. And the only thing I can say is maybe they were out of practice since we hadn't had such a big snow in such a long time. But we're on it. We're not forgetting you, Evelyn. And I will.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's a question of changing the angle of the plow. One or two of them up Park Avenue. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all it is. Just make it easier on us, you know?
What?
Anyway, but I thank you very much. Okay, great. Thank you.
Your regular attendance.
Okay.
Even better than some
Yes.
community board members.
No, I'm here. I'm here. All right. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Hey, next up, Gabriel Hannon, if you're there, you can raise your hand on Zoom. Otherwise, we're going to Michael Bailey.
Yeah.
There we go. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, hello. Sorry, my name is Michael. I live on 61st and First. My wife Shelby also spoke. I'm supposed to be there as well, but I'm fighting the flu right now, so I'm not sure. I'm trying to speak as loud as I can.
We can hear you.
All right. I'm concerned about the inhumane conditions that were proposed for the shelter. It's right outside of our windows here. You know, we're concerned that this is dangerous and outdated. I know, Valerie, you just brought up the shelter on 37th and First, but I think just like a little bit of background on that place, like you would see that that's probably not the best example of a well-run shelter. It's notorious for being a very violent and dangerous place, I think, from a lot of people that live there as well. And I'm here to, I think I'm also on your side, though. I think we can do better. You know, shelters can be designed in ways that are safe, humane, and warm and inviting. They can residents in the community. And I know our leaders would be proud to fast track the project that is safe and sustainable. So we stand ready to support a plan that serves the residents, not something that herds humans up like cattle and houses them in conditions that they will never want to return. And I know you made this point before, but it's, part of the problem with the unhoused homelessness that we face um, is that we have these shelters that no one wants to return to, and that
Sorry.
creates more homelessness than it cures. And we want to unite around this cause. Um, so I would love to join the advisory committee. I do have one question because at the meeting, I think we were told that the advisory committee will be formed after intake and after the shelter is already up and running. So I don't know how we can actually get meaningful change. But thank you for your time.
Sure, I appreciate the comments. Again, we don't have, input into how the CAB is actually put together, but, we have requested in the past to have the CAB start up before the shelter. It's like every community sort of ever had their flag life. Because those are the ones that are going off. Thank you.
I'm sorry, that completely cut off on Zoom, but
No, you can cut off. I just was quiet for a minute. Your time's up, but I'm just saying that again, it's not my agency, but that's how they're set up. They will
Okay.
start.
I just, yeah, if that seems to be our only way to affect change, I think we're being kind of duped here. Like, I don't know what our angle is as a community, because this has been kind of rammed down our throats. We have no say. And we're told that our only say will come a month after it's opened. So
Again, I don't know if you heard my remarks in the beginning of the evening, so that's just the process. I'm not the author of the process, and we have been working with, I mean, I know that not in the room tonight, but listening on Zoom is a representative of Councilmember Menon, Speaker Menon, and she is listening. And, again, it's a mayoral agency, they set the rules, and we just have to play the game. So, I think, I'm not saying, I am so happy that the Upper East Side is engaged in this issue in a very meaningful and positive way. And that I think, we are voices that are heard in this city. And so, I think it would be, I don't want to speak on behalf of all homeless advocates, but I think they would be very happy to hear that our community is engaged in trying to find the most humane answers to these questions. But at the same time, we have to deal with, as we have this winter, with literally people dying on the street from a lack of housing. And so we have to triage and just recognize the realities of the situation and do the best we can with what we've got. And then in the meantime, try to do better. And I think that's what we're all trying to do. So thank you very much. Who's next?
Robin Ostro is our next and last speaker. Robin, you should have a prompt to unmute.
Okay, here I am. Mine is a completely different topic. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Robin.
Since the completion of the 69th Street Avenue subway stop, our corner is now heavily trafficked spot with crowds of hospital workers headed for the trains. We've become derelict. The cannabis shop, fortunately, was shut down after years of illegal operation, but we have a massage parlor on our corner, a taco truck that never leaves overnight for cleaning and gets food loaded in from a car on the street overnight. There's a homeless man living on the mezzanine of the 69th Street entrance, who, when the weather gets nice, he'll hang around the top of the stairs with a with a junk-filled cart. And all my 311 complaints have been closed the following day due to non-chronic. And I come up at 11 o'clock at night from the subway from work, and the man is always there, except when it's less than 20 degrees. I go to police precinct meetings, nothing has changed. He's been there for about 3 years. And then we also have graffiti on the subway glass and on the sign that the MTA mounted on the side of our building. So I feel as though the space is a tax write-off for the MTA because it's been empty for 10 years. Our building has to keep it cleaned up, but there's graffiti on that sign now. And I just feel like no matter how, I come to meetings of all kinds and no complaints are ever taken care of. And we used to be a lovely spot with the Patsy's on the corner, and now we're just fighting everything. So that's
I'm gonna
my,
respond to that. Okay, I'm gonna respond to that in several ways. Number one, I believe that 69th Street has a neighborhood association, but we don't have the name of the person who's the head of the neighborhood association. So Robin, if you can contact our office, we have started a monthly neighborhood cabinet meeting where we take what you're asking about, and we have the following week meetings with the various agencies to put it to the forefront. I agree with you that the MTA is doing a terrible job of maintaining the 72nd Street station, of which the entrance you're talking about is on your corner. However, I will point out to you that the space that you are talking about at the bottom of your building is actually owned by the MTA, and they are responsible for it. They have owned it since the beginning of the Second Avenue construction project. We did complain about the condition of the outside, and that's why they put up that mural, because it had been a blight on that corner for many years. And their answer was to put up the mural. I don't know if Audrey's here. Yeah, she's still back. Audrey, you're familiar with my emails about that, right?
Yes, and I think Senator Krueger did follow up and.
Right, we followed up.
With a specific, I had it somewhere
Right.
in the email.
You can
no, I
address it.
understand all that I understand it's owned by the MTA. I understand it's their responsibility. Nobody has taken care of making steps to make them either improve the looks of the spot. This place will be this way for the next 10 years.
I hope you're wrong about that, because I know that they are actively marketing the space right now, so, okay. And if you want to, you can email us directly and we can talk about the other issues you're alluding to. But, you know, they have a responsibility. I know that they're actively marketing their property now because they've decided they don't need it anymore. Okay, we're done with the public session. So, thank you very much for everyone's participation. Can I just tell you that if you wanna keep up with what's happening on Community Board 8, you can sign up for our newsletter. And that will tell you about upcoming meetings. So first move is adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Okay, everybody wanna go home and say no? Okay. All right, we'll continue. Adoption of the minutes. Can I have a motion? Okay, and all in favor? Okay, do you have a quorum now? Yes. Okay, thank you. Next, enhanced borough president's report. You might want to stick around and listen to the electeds talk, but up to you.
2 minutes or 3 minutes or?
2.
Okay. Hello, my name is Andrew with the Borough President's Office. I'm here because your usual representative Saliva is on holiday leave and will be back next week. First off, happy Women's History Month, happy Ramadan, and happy early Passover for everybody and to those who celebrate. We just had our Manhattan Borough Convention this past Saturday at Lincoln Center. Thank you for those who came out. So if you're a community board member, we have bags that are outside on the table. You're for the members and the staff of the community board, so please get them on your way out. And then, we'll be having two upcoming events. One, we have an Eid event for teenagers on Friday, the 20th of March, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the New York Public Library on Fifth Avenue. Teenagers from the ages of 13 to 19 can engage in henna tattoos, mehndi, jewelry making, music, snacks to celebrate in the Ramadan. There's flyers outside on the table. The Friday after that, the 27th of March at Roosevelt House at Hunter College, we're having a Women's History Month event. We'll have women, female business owners speak on a panel about their experiences running a small business, and then we'll have networking, food, and so on and so forth. We have grants, Manhattan Cultural Growth Grant for nonprofit organizations. More information on our website. You can also check out the flyer on our table. And I guess I'll just quickly wrap up by talking about two local community issues. One, Manhattan Borough President Brad Siegel has heard your concerns about the HPD transparency related to Roosevelt Island and the rest of Community District 8. He's taken this issue very seriously and worked with the team to think of ways to liaise reliable communication, notifications, and accountability regarding HPD. And then lastly, I want to say regarding, for community board members and term limits and all that, your chair, Valerie Mason, has clearly mentioned that you guys, we're going to be in touch soon regarding the term limits for you guys. And regarding the application process, please stay tuned. We have not done interviews yet, so please stay tuned. Thank you.
Okay, I know you just inadvertently forgot to wish everybody a happy Easter and celebrate Easter.
That's Passover. Early
That's a completely different holiday.
It comes.
Oh, sorry, I've got,
Okay.
I'm gonna use, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, okay, now we're gonna do,
Was it?
It's true.
elected official reports, can you guys line up?
Let's start with Carolyn Rufkin from,
Okay, we have a returning representative, but this time she's working for a new, council person. Oh, okay. Virginia, you wanna go first?
all right,
Okay, sure. Come on up.
go ahead. Carolyn, we'll come back to you.
All right, thank you.
Welcome, Virginia Maloney.
Thank you very much. Sorry, everybody. Hi, people.
Sorry, so that the Zoom.
All right, so far just a lot of excitement. Happy to see you all. And congratulations on great attendance, Valerie.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you get the same at your meetings.
First, I want to say a big thank you to my staff, to Brees Pear in the back. You could wave at Brees. Many of you know him. He's going to be at every single one of these meetings. So please come up to him with questions, ideas, anything that our office can be doing to better help the community. I also want to share that we've hired a dedicated full-time constituent services director who started now 3 weeks ago. His name is Anderson Ortiz, and he comes with 15 years plus of experience in constituent services, formerly at the comptroller's office. So he's the one to get it done. We're really excited to have him on our team. I want to say a very happy Women's History Month to everyone in this room. And to honor that, last week, the City Council introduced Reso 360, which calls on the US Congress to recognize the Equal Rights Amendment as the 28th Amendment to the United States Constitution. This is an issue that's deeply personal to me. My ancestor actually authored the Equal Rights Amendment in 1923. So you can do the math on that. It's been a while, a long fought fight. And then it was later championed by a New York Congresswoman, Bella Abzug, who introduced it in the House. And of course, a Congresswoman, Carolyn Maloney, has also been a big champion of it.
I mean, how is she related to you?
Yeah. So the fact that this fight has gone on for so many generations is despicable, and it's not just a fight in our family, but it's a fight across families, for families across the country. Oh, am I on time limit?
No, but go ahead.
So the fact that women's rights are still vulnerable to shifting political winds and legal battles is I see so many friends, is really something we need to change. So this was passed, in, 38 states have ratified it in Congress, and we met the congressional threshold, and this is just a resolution to call on Congress to lift the time limit, ratify it permanently. We have 24 co-sponsors out of a 51-person council and counting, and we're voting on it next Thursday. This carries on the work of our Assembly member Seawright, who passed the New York State Proposition 1, which put women's rights in the New York State Constitution last year. And the goal is to spark this national movement. ERA Now is a nonprofit traveling to 25 states, urging city councils across the country to do similar resolutions and just continue to beat the drum of how important this is. Movements like this always start in New York, so yet again, we're kicking that off on Thursday, knock on wood, it will pass the city council. And that will be my first bill to pass. Which is exciting. It's also St. Patrick's Day, so I'm full of fun facts. So as the chair of the Irish caucus, we are celebrating all month long. We hosted a chamber event on Irish heritage and honoring members of the Irish community for their contributions. And we also had the council march in the parade yesterday with Speaker Menon. In less joyous news, we are in budget conversations that are ongoing. Many of the proposals from the administration are unfeasible, and the council is working hard to ensure that when the city really needs to be focused on affordability, that we are not talking about raising property taxes and closing the budget gap when the backs of the book. Thank you. And we are also very, very strong that this is not time to raid the rainy day fund. The rainy day fund is meant for emergency purposes. New York has gotten through many an emergency. When our tax revenue is rising, it should not be considered an emergency, and we do not need to be raiding into our emergency fund. If we got through COVID, we can get through this. So the council is digging into savings that we can find in a series of budget hearings. We're going line item by line item to try to identify those savings and come back with a budget that works for all of us. And as chair of the Economic Development Committee, I'm focused on identifying revenue for the city and promoting businesses and job creation in commercial corridors. My first hearing as chair of the committee was on FIFA and the World Cup and what we can do to make sure that the city is investing in tourism, getting funding to the city, and helping keep businesses alive and take advantage of that big boom on the economy in New York. I also want to talk about some bills that we are putting forward as a council to combat anti-Semitism. The Committee on Combating Hate, along with Speaker Menon, have a comprehensive package that is going to strengthen coordination, preparedness, and transparency across both schools and houses of worship. And that is being voted on Thursday as well, next Thursday as well. I am sponsoring a bill, Intro 297, that requires emergency planning for religious institutions. Where if you are a leader of a religious institution, you can call on the NYPD to help you. When New York is strongest, when you can enter a house of worship and feel safe and without fear, and protecting that is a top priority for me. Valerie's giving me the eyes.
No, I'm talking to
Okay. The last piece of legislation we're working on is the Shared City Act, which seeks to modernize our housing code and create safe, regulated shared housing options. So these are private rooms with shared kitchens and common spaces. This type of housing is currently not zoned in New York City at all. And at the same time, we have lots of commercial office space that we're trying to convert to residential. So this is something the council is trying to explore, particularly for students, for young workers, for artists, for families that are priced out of other housing options. So this is focused on new development and office to residential conversions to help bring back commercial corridors and make New York a place where people can live, work, shop, and help our communities thrive. Our office is always here for you. We're just a phone call away, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So give us a ring. And again, a huge thank you to my amazing team who will be at all of these meetings. And to all of you for your engagement and being such active members of the community. It all starts with the community board. And thank you, Valerie.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I've been here twice. That's awesome. We do keep attendance. Anyway, okay.
Now we'll go to Carolyn Rubkin.
Okay, so reintroducing Carolyn Rubkin, now on the speaker team, on the representing Julie Menon, and we're so happy to have you back because we know you know Community District 8. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Carolyn, Director of Constituent Services for Speaker Menon. Some of you may recognize me from last year when I worked for Councilmember Powers, and it's really great to be back at CB8. On the shelter, I just wanted to reiterate what Valerie said. We take the safety of the community very seriously, and we are committed to making sure shelter residents are treated with dignity. The speaker's team will be in direct contact with DHS, PD, and the shelter provider. The 19th precinct has agreed to increase patrols outside the shelter, and social workers will be on site 24/7. I'm happy to discuss this more. Participatory budgeting vote week is coming up April 11th through 19th, and our office is finalizing the ballot now. Last year, District 5 had the highest voter turnout in Manhattan for the 3rd consecutive year. We're hoping to keep that streak going. So a big thank you to CB8 for helping us get out the vote. After years of delays, a new Upper East Side city-run early childhood center will finally open in the fall on East 65th Street, adding 72 pre-K seats and 33 K seats. I've personally heard the frustration of parents whose kids have been placed too far from home because there weren't enough local seats to meet demand. Our office will keep pushing to make sure all families in the district and across the city get the 3K and pre-K seats that they were promised. And I'll just editorialize and say, as a mom of a 5-month-old, I'm extremely invested in making this happen. So next week, council, she's crying in the other room. Next week, the council will hold a vote on a package of legislation sponsored by the speaker to protect access to houses of worship, as Councilmember Maloney mentioned. Finally, I wanted to bring it back to the neighborhood and mention some hyper local wins in partnership with city agencies. The Constituent Services team has been working on several complicated housing cases lately, like helping a constituent navigate the senior citizen rent increase exemption program, and we got her a new signed lease. A couple more fun ones. The rusty gate outside the Carl Schurz Park dog run has been repaired. Some hateful graffiti has been cleaned off an M79 bus seat. And we worked with DSNY to set up free dog poop bag dispensers on a couple district trash cans. Thanks all. I'm really happy to be back.
Okay, we're happy to have you. Yeah, those bags have been attached to, I think they're on First Avenue. One I think is 96th Street or thereabouts. And one is on 61st or 62nd, in the low 60s. High 90s.
Let me double check. I want to get you the exact ones. Okay, 67th and 1st and 94th and 1st.
Yeah, and they apparently, like in the first hour, 14 were taken, meaning that people were using them. But I haven't had a chance to say this, but I'm recommending that you get a special color bag so we can actually see whether those bags are making their way back to the trash can or whether they're being left somewhere else. But that was my own, it's a pilot program and it's being tested in our district. Exciting, right, Danielle? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Valerie.
Look forward to seeing you. Okay.
Baby.
Carolyn, do you have?
She's gone.
Is she
She's
here?
back.
I'm here.
Carolyn, do you have contact information? People in the room are asking.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Your contact information if somebody wants to email you.
Oh, sure. I can put my email in the chat.
What about for the people in the room?
It's just CRUV as in Victor, KUN as in Nancy at council.nyc.gov.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And it's briefly on the screen for those of you in the room.
There it is.
Okay, Julie, anybody else? You don't have to talk. No. There you go. Savannah, Audrey, come on up. What are you gonna do now?
Am I going first? You can pass. Am I first?
Yeah.
What's up, CB8? How we doing? All right, hopefully they're being passed around or someone near you has one, but if not, we're doing it together. We've got a crossword today. All the announcements are on the back as well, but we're gonna cover it together. So we can start the 2-minute timer for a crossword mini. Let's start with 6 across. Does anybody have right there? It's short poem recited at a community board aid. I got haiku. Okay, that's all right. How about one down was a type of truck? Yeah, it's a truck event we're having every first Saturday. I heard shred. That's right. Alex Boris is having shred truck events every first Saturday for the foreseeable future. You can see where they are on the back of your sheet. How about 8 across? It's something that Assemblymember Boris will either attend or host. Event is correct. That's good. All right, let's see. How about Easter activities? 3 down. Hunts is correct. That's very good. All right, let's see. What else do we got? How about what is it? A Seinfeld episode these days? That's good. Very good. Okay. Broadway hit? Smash. Smash. That's good. Good. All right. And let's see. Oh wait, that's an S. Okay. 4 down was a question mark one. That's a punny one. That's one raising a stink. Sorry, this is an S. Oh, it's good. Very good. Okay, we have at least 6 of these at our district office.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, and what time is it? How fast are we doing minis?
Yeah, 47.
I've got so much time left. Lots more announcements, including legislative updates on the back of your sheets. Please come to all of our upcoming district events. We have shred truck events. We have legal services for you. Assemblymember Boris is passing all kinds of things and introducing things at the State House. Please take a look. And at the bottom is contact information, as well as final plug for Monday with the CB8 Social Justice Committee. Assemblymember Boris is going to be presenting on the RAISE Act and AI. Come with your questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. So before we get on next.
Go for it. Good evening, I'm Courtney Ferris, the reporting for Assemblymember Rebecca C. Wright. Over the past month, the Assemblymember has remained focused on supporting older adults. On National Caregivers Day, she hosted a forum highlighting the needs of family caregivers and is advancing legislation to expand services and strengthen protections. As chair of the Aging Committee, we also passed legislation last week in the Assembly to combat elder financial exploitation, creating a statewide public awareness campaign to help prevent scams targeting older adults. In Albany, budget negotiations are ongoing. The Assembly's proposal includes key investments in home care, assisted living, nutrition programs, and affordability measures, including energy rebates and child care support. The Assemblymember was appointed to the Health Subcommittee of the Budget Conference Committee, where she's advocating for healthcare access and aging services. She's also supporting $15 million in funding for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities to receive tuition assistance. We continue to accept nominations for our annual Women of Distinction Awards ceremony through March 27th. We're having an upcoming virtual RAT Academy on March 27th. And sign up to enter our trash can raffle in partnership with the RAT Academy. And we're having a paper shred day on April 2nd with Lenox Hill Neighborhood House and AARP. And as always, you can reach us 212-288-4607 or at crr@nysw.gov. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan Paulette, and I work in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. I'm a new community engagement coordinator for the left side, not the east side, so I'm sure you're probably just something familiar that's going to be seeing me from home. Just one little update, the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, announced an all-count trial conviction of Kamal Senrod for pushing a woman into a departing train at the Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street station on May 21st, 2023, leaving her paralyzed from the shoulders down. On March 9, 2026, a New York Supreme Court jury convicted Senrod of 1 count of attempted murder in the 2nd degree and assault in the 1st degree. He's expected to be sentenced on May 6, 2026. Alvin Bragg stated that a jury of his peers convicted him of forcefully shoving an unsuspecting commuter from behind the subway rider's worst nightmare. I thank the survivor for bravely recounting her story at the trial, and our skilled prosecutors were presenting a compelling case for this conviction. That's all for me. Thank you so much.
Hi there, I'm Audrey from Liz Kruger's office. Was not gonna mention it, but I will say again that Liz supports well-run shelters. We have many in our district that were, you know, when they were first introduced, the community responded the way much of this community is, but we do support well-run shelters. We've met with the providers. We did bring up the number of people in the shelter. We brought up the warm settings. We brought up how many elevators are in the room. So we understand those concerns. We will work. I do want to confirm what Valerie and Carolyn said just about the process and how these things happen. But we are committed to making sure it's a well-run shelter, and we certainly hope that you will be on the CAG too. Number two, somebody brought up the steam plant. Finally, today, our office has been working very hard. HPD is definitely gonna have a public information session to talk about the safety and environmental measures that are being put in place to make sure that the steam plant is being done properly, the demolition. Something else came up but I'm gonna go back to what I was gonna talk about, which is the budget. Liz, as you know, is the chair of the finance, and, there's a different point of view in the New York State Senate, and that is that taxes do need to be increased in order to maintain the services that run the city and state. And even in some places, we probably need a little bit more money than's been in there. So just so you know, this includes increasing the top corporate tax rate, from 7.25 to 9%. That's really for fintech and companies that earn over $5 billion a year. Increasing income taxes to the 0.5% on the wealthiest New Yorkers is estimated that would be people with incomes of $5 million or more a year. Also eliminating the sales tax. I don't know how many people are affected here on gold bars. Also, some of the parts of the big beautiful bill tax cuts from the state. And can I just say, because the chop word here last week, it also includes increasing a sales tax on non-essential helicopter rides. No more time? Okay.
Do you want to say?
I just wanted to know, because I know Liz has been on a lot of reporters about this, and that's the climate legislation that the governor wants to roll back. Liz and many of her colleagues believe that it's critically important to keep these procedures in place, and she did send a letter, and it's just really important that you understand her point of view. We categorically oppose any effort to roll back New York's nation-leading climate law and urge you to stand strong in the face of misinformation that seeks to blame the CLCPA for the energy affordability crisis. It is a crisis. Electric bills are too high. We've got a lot of bills in place to confront that. Thanks for giving me a few extra seconds, and in 72 hours, it will be spring.
Okay. That's a positive note. I do want to say, and I'll get to you in a second, sorry. But we are going to come back to Senator Kruger, Assemblywoman Seawright, and to the Speaker's office, because we are receiving, I don't know, my microphone's going off. We are receiving a lot of complaints about the change from the F to the M on Roosevelt Island, and we really need to address it. So yes, so we need to work together on that. And I just want to mention it because we did have heard a lot of commentary from not only people who are on the island, but other people as well, who are impacted by the switch.
63rd Street subway.
Yes, exactly. It's a disaster.
We
Yeah. Okay, great. We'll work on that. Go ahead.
Our office is also working on it with everybody. We are all in communication with each other because it's
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah Wiener, I'm Congressman Jerry Nather's office, and taking us to political affairs, which is a little tough right now, but earlier in the month, the House of Representatives voted on the War Powers Resolution to stop President Trump from taking further military action against Iran without congressional authorization. Congressman Nather voted yes on the resolution. The Trump administration has launched an illegal war in violation of the Constitution, specifically Article 1, and also against the will of the American people. So, that aside, folks know any American citizens that are in Israel, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and I think those are the four. They can submit a crisis intake form, which can be found on the various countries' embassy websites, so that they can, if they want to leave the country, they can work out
they can figure out a way to do that. Right now, El Al is having specific flights out of Israel, but we don't know about other countries quite yet. So if you have any questions, A, feel free to call our office. B, you should encourage them to go look at those intake forms on the embassy websites. Additionally, you should enroll in the STEP program. So I know a lot of folks are going to be traveling for spring break, Easter, Passover, things like that. So if you are planning to travel internationally, I highly recommend you enroll in the STEP program to whatever country or countries you're going to. You can do that on the State Department website. And if you have any other questions about that, call our office. The last thing I want to flag on a fun note is if you know any high school students that are artistic and want to participate in the Congressional Art Competition, we are accepting applications. They're due April 24th. You can learn more information on our website. The only qualification is that the child has to be, I believe, a middle school or high school student, and they have to reside in the New York 12th district. So if you have any questions, you should encourage, we saw some great art in CB8. So if you have any, student artists that you'd like to encourage to participate, they get to, in the like the tunnel underneath honors, they get to hang up their art there. It's really exciting. Yeah, it's very sweet there. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kate Leslie. I'm from State Senator Serrano's office, and I have a brief update for you all. Okay, so he chaired a meeting of the Committee of Cultural Affairs, Tourism, Parks and Rec. That's the committee that he chairs. It was very successful, supporting cultural institutions and also requiring the cleaning of playground equipment after pesticide exposure. Crazy that wasn't happening already, but now it is. Okay, Senate has also released its one House bill budget proposal. I want to note that this is not the final budget, but rather the Senate's priorities as negotiations continue with Governor and the Assembly ahead of the April 1st deadline. Okay, the Senator will be holding constituent hours tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Gaylord White Older Adult Center. So anyone's encouraged, welcome to stop by with any questions or concerns. Also, our office is always open. It's on East 100th Street and First Avenue. So thank you. Have a great night.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we're done with the elected reports. Can you go first?
I can go first.
Is that okay?
Yes, on the condition that you lead right into a roll call for the secretaries.
Yeah.
As their baseline.
Okay.
Okay. All right, what's going on in the office? The district managers citywide met last week with the district managers citywide met last week with the mayor's new Office of Mass Engagement, which is replacing the mayor's Office of Community. Well, that's how the mayor's communicating with community boards now. We are, I think, as a group of district managers, trying to shift them a little bit more into a service delivery mentality, and I hope that will be something that we will see some progress on citywide. I'm really pleased to tell you, and Communications Committee, especially Robin, has been working very hard on this. We're ready to move forward with a logo for the board. There was some procurement drama, but we're now ready to go. And the vendor selection pool will be going up very soon. There will be a web page with information on the process, and you can submit your, if you're interested, I think the payment is something like $800. So you can submit your application, and if you're selected, you'll provide a number of drafts to the Communications Committee. Well, up to 3 with revisions.
Okay.
And the Communications Committee will work with you and we will pay you $800. So that's the process coming up there. Let me double check on that figure. No one hold me to that. It's written down elsewhere. The art fair is coming up on June 6th, and I'm very happy to tell you that John and Scarlett have been working hard on a new digital system so that John is not sending out as many emails, but it's still going to be the same art fair you know and love, just administered a little more efficiently. Rain date June 7th. Information is online, go.cb8m.com/art show. We've been working really hard on casework and service delivery in the office, and that has taken shape in a few ways in recent weeks. We're working with a local synagogue on putting up vehicle barricades in front of the building. That involves some agency coordination between DOT and NYPD, and we are hoping that we were able to get something unstuck, but we'll find out in the next few days if we were able to get that process out of administrative limbo. I know that's a top priority for folks after what happened in my old stomping grounds of Metro Detroit. John was able to get rid of a road plate, one of those French plates that cars were hitting that was making a really objectionable noise. So we're happy about that. And for the folks concerned about 69th Street, I've got a great one for you. New York City law specifically prohibits bending on certain stretches of Lexington Avenue, and between or below 69th Street is one of them. In that area, we were, after DSNY had ignored some 311 complaints, we made some calls. They visited on Saturday, inspected 3 trucks and issued 8 summonses. So we're hoping that that will get things back on track. I attended the Metropolitan Hospital Legislative Breakfast last week where Sharon Pope Marshall won an award. Do you want to tell us about it very briefly? Remind us, well, tell us about your award, Sharon.
Sure, thank you. Just community service to the East Harlem community.
Yep.
There's no just before that.
So congratulations, and our Valerie Mason at a Junior League award as well.
Yeah.
With, I understand, a very nice dinner.
Yes, yeah, there were 1,000 people in the room, and over $1 million was raised for Junior League and all the programs that they do around the city. They are the quiet helpers of fixing up playgrounds, putting kitchens and not-for-profits that help with soup kitchens, from soup to nuts. They've been around since 1909. 125th anniversary, and I was very honored to be mentioned. So thank you.
The modernization push in the office continues. We're looking at new rules for flyering that we'll talk about later on. It's very exciting stuff. Those iconic flyers, big changes. We are also just improving that process very slightly. They'll be generated at the click of a button, so no more Word document modifications. And we're also, and you'll hear more about this coming up, we're looking at procedures for staff approvals on certain non-controversial items that sometimes come before the board. We'll talk about that with you all before that happens, but that's a best practice that we've seen from other Manhattan boards, and it's something we're interested in looking at. Also on the subject of modernization, we're very happy to be having a personnel discussion with you all in executive session at the end of today's meeting, and that is your district manager update.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did somebody go around and pull down the flyers?
I'm so glad you asked. And everyone else, you all have to suffer through my answer, but we typically require applicants to take them down. The success rate of applicants taking those flyers down is rather low. And that's something that we've actually heard about from neighborhood associations, and as Valerie says, everyone. So automated processes to remind people to take them down, and a new design tweak. Applicant name is responsible for removing this flyer on such and such date. They put them up, but now the flyers will also contain a note saying they are responsible for taking them down. So if you are unhappy that a flyer is on your block, you will know who to call.
Sometimes they use tape. I sometimes take down old stuff on it, and sometimes you can't do it because the tape.
Well, they have to do it. They put it up, they know how to take it down. I mean, okay, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And so if people find it, they can complain to they can complain to the restaurant or building that has taken it down.
Yeah.
But I mean, I take them down regularly too, so.
Sometimes it's tough. And it's like,
Yeah.
It's not just them, it's the guy that's a painter or something else like that.
Needs to do that. The board needs to do that.
If there's no applicant, then we're putting them up, and then we'll be like, I know.
Yeah, right.
But
Yep.
we say that at every single meeting.
I know, but I mean, look, we're gonna keep track of it, and if people tell us the next time they come up for, do we have another microphone, cause this one's like.
You know, having a street day committee.
Yeah, okay, anyway.
Regular order.
Okay, I'm trying. Okay, I have, we have to talk to the public, I the public come, so I'm moving as fast as I can.
Public is gone.
I know, so I do have a report that I'm supposed to give Chuck, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. No, I didn't give it. Thank you. So, I'm gonna make my report short. I just wanna, I'm not gonna talk about the shelter, I'm gonna not talk about that. I do wanna talk about, this morning we had a regularly scheduled meeting with the chief of, Manhattan North, which is the governing police body over all of the precincts on the north side of 59th Street in Manhattan. It was a great meeting, they came with all their staff. And we talked about a lot of issues, homelessness, e-bikes. We talked about, what else? We talked about everything. I mean, that, they are completely, engaged and want to hear from us, which is great. And then, it was a very interesting meeting because the assistant chief for Metro North is Manhattan North, sorry. I always have transportation on my mind, is Aaron Edwards, who we've all seen in the newspaper, who jumped over the fence along with two other members of his team to apprehend the alleged, bombers on Gracie Square. So we talked a lot about that. One thing that the chief wanted me to convey to the people in this room and everyone who was listening was that he was so appreciative of the way the community responded to requests to stay in their homes or to evacuate. There was all sorts of situations. And he said that the cooperation of the community was unparalleled and that it made everyone at the NYPD's job so much easier to deal with a very dangerous and unfolding situation. So he wanted to say thank you very much for that. And that, you know, he was pleasantly surprised, and so was his entire team, about how everyone just went along with the program, and that made everything easier to deal with a rather tense situation. He did say that he thought the counter protesters were there, not so much, because of the mayor, but because of who sponsored the original demonstration, and that they are completely on top of monitoring those individuals who, sort of create the counter demonstrations on both sides of issues. And, they're monitoring everything. And, as I said, I think people are not very used to having a mayor living in Gracie Mansion. It hasn't been one there for a while. So everybody has to get used to that. But, he was very confident, and I think rightly so, as to, how they're gonna patrol that area. And, again, just thanks to everybody. There are a lot of things unfolding in our office, all towards modernizing and making our meetings more efficient, as well as looking towards our term limits and how we're gonna operate so that people in the office have protocols that extend beyond the life of any one community member's participation in this process, and or any chair sitting up here. I just want to say thank you to our staff. They're doing an incredible job. I think you can see every day how things are really getting into, I don't know what the correct century term for it is, but really moving us to a great place, in terms of communicating with one another, et cetera. I would just ask that, our community board members be cognizant of the fact that, the staff is dealing with 48 other members when you call. So please just keep that in mind, when you ask them to do something. They are very responsive, but you need to give them time to do things. I'm hopeful that the mayor will start, interacting with the community board. And when I say the mayor, I mean the various agencies. We're still waiting for contact information. A lot of letters have not gone out of our office because we don't know, we have no email addresses to send them to. It's crazy. But, they actually texted us today asking for our information. And I said, we're not sending our information until we have yours. So, hopefully that will get us a response. And now I'm done. And Streetlight Committee, you're up at bat.
Wait, you don't want to do the roll call?
No, we don't use here.
Okay, you can do it if you want.
I'll do it.
I don't.
Okay, we're gonna do a roll call as Streetlight comes up to do it, since Lindsay's not gonna do it. We're just gonna do a quick roll call, so we know who's voting on various issues tonight. Since everybody didn't come in at the beginning.
My car?
Go ahead, you're up. You have
Okay, Anderson. Yeah. Wait, it's not one. Sorry.
We can hear you though.
Okay, Angelos.
Yeah.
Ashby.
Yes.
Avatar.
Yes.
Darren.
Yes.
Uns.
Yes.
Birnbaum.
Here.
Boris.
Here.
Ferrero.
Here.
Pam.
Here.
Two.
Yes. Here.
Cohen.
Here.
Coleman.
Present.
Coleman. Corner.
Yep.
Paulson.
Present.
Carver.
Here.
King.
Here.
Ron Clark. Okay. Bussard.
Here.
Halpern.
Here.
Hutchinson. Hussein.
Yes.
Uns.
Johnson. Strickler. Later here. Lett.
Here.
Mason.
Here.
McClemens.
Here.
Morrison.
Here.
Michaels.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Pope Marshall.
Here.
Price.
Yes.
Rose.
Here.
Rudder.
Here.
Salcido.
No.
Okay, so. Sanchez.
Here.
Schneider.
Present.
Seligson.
Here.
Salam.
Here.
Selway. Not here. Slide.
Here.
Squire.
Here.
Stein.
Here, he's in the restroom, I think.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Wall.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
Weinberger.
Here.
Weiner.
Here.
Thank you all.
Jane?
Could we get a count of who's on Zoom, what the number is?
11.
11 are on Zoom, thank you.
Okay,
All right.
Streetlight, you're up.
It's our fair warning, there are some slight changes in what is being presented here now compared to what is in your packets, and that will be changed. But let's get started with unanimous SLA liquor license approvals. So there's two, item 1B and 1C. Are there any motions, Marco?
All the questions.
All the questions?
Second.
Something, and
Is anybody gonna vote no?
all right, perfect. Next up. we
Wait,
have-
let's just have, okay, everybody voting yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're on Zoom and you object, please raise your hand.
No. Stein's not voting.
Miles, this is 1C and 1 what?
This is 1B and 2.
1B and 1C?
Yes, there's been some changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what are they? Can you just say what they are?
So, this is business, one is Second Act Market LLC and the other is Shira operating as patisserie Vanessa. All right, moving on to our non-unanimous approval, we have item 1A, which is Ikuya, at 1718 Second Avenue. There was contention with the, presenter for the business. People believe that there was a lack of respect in the presentation. However, the substantive part of the application was perfectly fine.
Miles, can I just raise a question? You have adopted by a vote of 10-0-3, shouldn't it be 10-3-0? Three no's and 0 abstentions.
Yes.
Way, so.
You know, we've gone back and forth on this in our committee, and I think I agree with your thing, but we were corrected last time that it was gonna be that the middle was gonna be the abstentions.
No,
I agree with
it's
you.
never been that
Never.
way.
It's always at the end.
It's always the
No
last
abstain,
one.
not
Okay.
voting for.
Put that in the
Just
box.
change
Okay.
it to that. We'll change
I
it.
agree with
Thank
you, we'll change that, there was a little debate last
But
time.
can you tell us what the problem was with the community?
I can't, I wasn't there, he did.
So the problem was that, the presenter, he was glitching, he wasn't fully attentive to the meeting. And people felt that there was a level of disrespect in his presentation, for his application.
I think they have also problems in the language.
Is this the man that was just walking around? the-
Yeah, this is, yes.
So is that indicative as to how he would manage his?
Well, you all
that's-
did 10, right?
it was
10-3.
10-3.
Okay,
Call the question.
Wait, I got, sorry, Sasha, I'm so.
Sasha?
Yeah, I was just gonna give more color, kind of like what Miles said. The guy like answered his phone like it was, and it's fine to take, the meeting on the phone, was talking to other people like around him while he was supposed to be presenting, walking around, very aimless. There was very much like he wasn't actually speaking to us and didn't really see an issue. It wasn't like when other presenters say like, what do you need me to say? I'm confused. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm here. So what do you want from me? And I think we're very hard on people when they don't show up right or when they don't act right. And I think that should, happen even if they answer the call and they're just completely dismissive, because it shouldn't be a given for anything.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, that's up to the chairs to redirect them. So, I mean, you voted in favor of the application anyway, right?
Yes, it was
Okay.
instant, so.
I called
We
the
called the
question.
question.
Against that.
We took call the roll, but we had, all right.
No, I got it, yeah.
Okay.
Hold the roll.
Are we calling the roll?
Yeah, call the roll.
It's, who's gonna vote no?
This is 1A.
Okay, who's voting no? Marco, you voting no?
I'm sorry.
Are you now?
I'm sorry.
Are you a no?
We have 3 no's on Zoom.
Okay, so that's three zones and Michelle and the rest.
Yeah, so,
It was on Zoom. So,
Alida and Sahar and Sasha.
okay,
Camp was saying so.
everybody else is a yes?
No, I'm voting no.
Okay, I asked if you were
I'm
voting no, and you
voting
put your hand up.
Okay, my hand is up.
I mean, the instructions are pretty easy. Okay, let's call the roll. Since nobody can understand the instructions.
Yes.
Andrews. Ashby,
No.
Avisar,
Yes.
Aaron,
Gail, you should have a
Yes.
prompt to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Forrest,
Yep, we are.
yes, Ferrero.
Yeah.
Chu,
Yeah.
Yes.
Coleman,
You skipped me.
Cormac, you're no already. Yeah. Cormac, yes, Paulson,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Halpern,
No.
Burkington,
Yeah.
what did you say, sorry, Bradley?
Yes.
Yes. Later. Love is virtual.
Yes.
Lev?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Ethan,
Yes.
McLennan,
Yes.
Myerson,
Yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
virtual. I have Marshall is no, Phillips,
Yes.
Pope Marshall,
Yes.
Price.
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Sanchez. Virtual,
He's off Zoom.
Schneider, virtual,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Salem,
No.
Slay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Tamayo,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Weinberger. Virtual,
Sam?
Yes.
You gotta be on camera, Sam.
Oh, okay.
I'm on camera. There he is.
Hello.
Thank you.
Sharon Leader.
Yes. You.
Okay, this carries 36-7.
Did you get Camp as a no?
She missed me.
Oh,
Hussein,
and
No.
Hussein,
Oh,
Hussein is no.
we have you as a no, Sahar.
Okay,
Is that right?
yeah, that's
Thank
right. A no. Thank you.
All right,
Camp is.
moving on to our one and only unenclosed sidewalk cafe. This is item 2A, which is Pura Vida Miami. So there was a lot of contention with this business in past, which Lindsay might want to speak on. However, I have been told from Marco that they have agreed to certain stipulations, including reviewing the number of seats that are included in their application or in their final product, increasing the distance to the adjacent tree pit and increasing the distance to the adjacent parking meter. And we agreed that despite the previous intentions with the business, that they in future would operate properly.
Well, is that,
Call the question.
Call the question.
is that in the resolution now? The actual, like,
No.
to fix it, or they put 8 feet or 10 feet?
No, she's asking a question, it is in the resolution.
So it's not that Marco spoke to the representative who is here today, who spoke in the public session. This was not in the original resolution because we felt that the application was strong enough in its current state. However, I think that it was important to add that the applicant agreed to for those further changes.
Right, but I want the further changes in the
Yeah,
resolution.
I'm perfectly.
Marco, can you say what they are? Because
Yes,
the gentleman's right here. I
I
want
just
to make
spoke
sure.
with the applicant, and he said that, I was raising the issue of the distance, the open distance between the tree pit and the chairs, as well as the.
Right, but what did we agree?
And he said, yes.
Yes,
And also.
Yes, what?
Yes,
8
he's
feet,
going to
5 feet?
maintain the required distance. Also, he said that he is not going to cover the main gas bulb on the sidewalk. These 3 items, he said yes, and he's accepting that.
Okay, but what
He
is,
won't be able to do the presentation because the board doesn't allow. That's what he said.
no, but what I'm saying, I'm asking, what is the distance that he's agreed to?
8 feet
8 feet from the start of the tree pit to
Yes.
where he,
to the near chair and table.
okay, and you're in the back, I see you, is that what you're agreeing to?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's number 3? It's that, it's something with the gas, not covering the gas.
Yes.
And what's
What was
the
the
third?
And the traffic mirror distance too. Because the,
8 feet from the traffic meter to the
Yes.
chairs. Yes,
Okay, because we're gonna put that in the
so we're gonna
resolution,
put it in the resolution.
okay,
Perfect.
so let's,
Question.
I know, but I'm,
It's a friendly amendment, that's fine.
yeah, just wanna make
Is
it.
anyone voting no?
Alita's got,
No, question's been called.
sorry, Alita.
All right, who's voting no? Is everybody else voting yes, or are we voting no? Who's voting no? Raise your hand if you're voting no.
Is Sasha voting no? This seems to exceed her threshold.
If you're,
Anybody on Zoom voting no, please raise your hand at this time. Otherwise, you're gonna be counted as a yes. The polls are closing.
Ian, can you tell me what the Zoom count is for no's?
no nos on Zoom,
Sasha's a no, isn't she?
Sasha's not saying anything.
Okay, it's just Michelle in the room. Everybody else is a yes?
And Elizabeth, didn't she
I
have
see
your
no
hand up?
hands
She
up.
had her hand up.
Okay, all right, now she has hands up, okay.
Okay, moving
Thank
on.
you.
The next 3 items are all enclosed sidewalk cafes. And this has kind of been a hot topic as this is not done anymore. However, all 3 of these items, as I understand it, have been will be automatically approved by DOT. I'm referencing Jordan here. And if we as a board deny these applications, it would automatically trigger a hearing on these applications and they would still get approved in the long run anyway. So I think that's an important note. Moving on, we unanimously approved items 2D and 2B for the enclosed sidewalk cafes.
So there were 2 of them in total,
There was 3 in total, 2 which were unanimously approved.
and what was the vote on the other one?
The vote on the other one, Marco was the only no, because there was a kind of disagreement among the designation of if it was a enclosed or a open sidewalk cafe.
Chuck wants to make a motion.
Well, it's approval.
So I'm saying for the unanimous approvals, there are 2, which I think we should. Call the question.
Getting their report, and it looks like there are at least 3.
Marco.
There are,
thanks about-
there are 3, but 2 are being unanimously approved. That's what we're just doing now.
We're gonna take the 2 together as a unanimous approval?
Yes,
Okay,
Yep.
can you say what the letters are again?
this 2B and 2D.
Okay, 2B and 2D, is anyone voting no? Okay, Anthony and Michelle, anybody on Zoom voting no?
Raise your hand on Zoom for no, no hands, seeing none.
Okay, everybody else is a yes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to your non-unanimous, which really
So
was
this is-
one no vote.
Yes, this is a one no vote, which is to C operating as or say. And again, there was a disagreement on the designation of if it was enclosed or unenclosed.
Call the question.
Voting no. You're voting, anybody else voting no besides Michelle on this one? Okay, Anthony, Marco, and Michelle, anybody on Zoom?
Raise your hand on Zoom if it's a no, seeing none. Alita's a no.
Okay, anybody else? The polls are closed.
Elizabeth.
Got it. Oh, now Elizabeth, okay.
You have to raise your hand higher.
Okay,
All right, moving on, we have a Robe Cafe, which is item two B, operating as Serafina. There were concerns from Jane that it was a Robe Cafe, and from Sasha that there was a bike lane right in front of where the dining section would be, and there was concerns on the operations of that item, which wants to comment on it.
I think we know the argument.
Yeah,
Are all the roadkill people voting no? Okay.
I'm joining the group.
Maybe we're running the road still?
Okay.
you want to take the roll?
Okay,
we're
but
gonna
we're gonna call the roll on this one, but the roadkill group is just has a new member, I guess. Okay,
Okay, so this is two E, yes?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, Anderson,
Yes.
Angelos,
Yes.
Ashby,
No.
Avatar,
Yes.
Baron,
No.
Birnbaum,
No.
Flores,
Yes.
Ferrero,
Yes.
Camp,
No.
Chu,
Yes.
Cone,
No.
Coleman.
Yes.
Cormac, yes, Paulson,
Yes.
Barber,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hartzog,
Yes.
Halpern,
No.
Hershenson,
Motion said, I think we got it. Not in the room, he is left the room.
Hussein,
Yes.
Later,
Yes.
Lev,
Yes.
Mason,
No.
Clement,
Yes.
Meyerson,
Yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
On Zoom.
Marshall,
No.
Phillips,
Yes.
Pope Marshall,
Yes.
Price,
No.
Rose,
No.
Rudder,
Yes.
Sanchez. Oh, he's gone maybe?
Mhm.
Okay, Schneider,
Yes.
Sellison,
Yes.
Salem,
No.
Slay,
Yes.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Smile,
Yes.
Wald,
No.
Warren,
Yes.
Weinberger,
Yes.
Weiner.
Yes.
Okay, 30 to 12 it carries.
Okay.
All right, last, we have one renewal application for a cannabis dispensary. This is three A, and this is operating as Emerald Dispensary. In committee was an 11 to 3 vote. And it was the same kind of arguments against cannabis dispensaries. I don't think that there's anything unique.
Call the question.
Second.
Do we need to call the roll?
Oh.
Yeah, what you call the roll? Anderson. No. Angelos. Yes. Ashby.
No.
Avatar.
No.
Baron.
No.
Birnbaum.
No.
Forrest.
Yes.
Ferrero.
Yeah.
Ham.
No.
Two.
Yes.
Cone. Yes. Coleman.
Yes.
Cormac.
Yes.
Paulson. Yes. Barber.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Hartzog.
Yes.
Halpern.
No.
Hershenson.
No.
Hussein.
No.
Later, yes. Lev.
Yes.
Mason.
No.
Clemens. Yes. Meyerson. Yes. Michaels.
No.
Marshall.
No.
Phillips.
Yes.
Pope Marshall.
Yes.
Price.
No.
Rose.
Yes.
Rudder.
Yes.
Sanchez. Oh, no, not Sanchez, sorry, Schneider.
Yes.
Sellison.
No.
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 Salam.
Yes.
Slide,
Yes.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Tamayo,
No.
Wald,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Weinberger,
Yes.
Weiner.
Yeah.
Motion carries 27 yes, 16 no.
Right, thank you all.
Can we see Miles?
You're up. Transportation, up and back.
Then pass, didn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay, we had the TLC, taxi limitation committee come before us. And we had a couple of resolutions that were unanimous from the TLC. And one was this requirement, and Elizabeth really started this, there's an issue of, they deal with wheelchairs in taxis pretty well, but they don't deal with a situation where you have taxis that are high off the ground, and people have trouble getting into them. And so what we said was, the TLC required them to have a portable stoop, which is very small and could be easily purchased for a very minor amount. And that's the resolution that we passed there, and they just hadn't thought about it, and they said they would look at it if we passed the resolution. So that was number one. Number two were the vehicle specifications, and they do lay out vehicle specifications. And one of the other issues that was raised, a lot of times you get into a cab and there's no, there's no room between the seat and the partition. And so we wanted them to take a look and see about, making those easier for people to get into and get out of. And so those were really, that's in essence what those were, and those were both unanimous, resolutions. Yes.
Oh, the unanimous, please.
On both, okay.
Second.
Second, anyone gonna oppose them? Okay.
Anybody on Zoom? Because we can't.
Oh,
see.
anybody, yeah.
Any opposition on Zoom? There we go.
So Chuck, this is 1, 2, and 4?
Yeah,
Okay, we can't see on them. We need to. sit
well, it's
down.
1 and 2, it's 1 and 2, sorry, it's 1 and 2.
There are 3 resolutions.
There's 4.
Oh, there's 4.
No, there's 4, I know, but those were,
That's
the third one, I just,
Send Jennifer.
the third unanimous one was 67th, Second Avenue.
63rd.
63rd, sorry.
Okay.
And this is, I would call this the Judy Schneider resolution, because about 20 years ago, Judy Schneider had them close off, cars come off the bridge and make a left turn. And Judy had them close off where you couldn't cross the street there, so you had free flowing traffic. But DOT in its wisdom decided, well, we don't want to do that, we think we can make it work, et cetera.
Did you say make it worse?
Well, actually, maybe I misspoke, yeah. And so people said, look, here's the problem. Problem is, you have 2 left turn lanes, and really people aren't turning left that much. You really need, there's only 1 through lane. And so we thought, okay, we're not gonna revisit the old thing.
And the through lane is, has the signal the entire time. No, the 2
Left turn lane.
the 2 left turn lanes have a delayed green signal, while this through lane has the green signal the entire time, so it results in further exacerbated.
Backed up traffic in
Backup.
the return, in the left turn.
As those left 2 lanes or left lanes are delayed.
No, that's a different thing.
that's
different.
That's 60 seconds.
That's 62nd Street, yeah.
Judy Schneider, yes, sir.
So Judy, well, I should let, so what we decided, well, we weren't gonna relitigate the old thing and say, put it back, because they weren't gonna do that. We said, let's have 2 straight lanes and only 1 left turn lane. And let's recognize Judy, since she's been involved in it for so many. Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, we're doing an event, the association, and I've been talking to the presidents of the boards along the bridge, and they've all been complaining about the noise, and I've been on foot a lot on 63rd Street. The horn honking now with 2 lanes, with 1 lane is just absolutely incredible. And just in case, I don't know whether your minutes say it or not, we're going to have a school opening next month. on that northern lane. So we have 2 apartment houses and a school, which will have people stopping, picking up stuff, dropping off kids. So this one lane of traffic, as noisy as it is now, it's going to get even worse when the school opens. It's just a terrible idea.
It's in the resolution as a whereas.
It's in a whereas.
That is a terrible idea.
What is? But anyhow, so that was our unanimous vote. So I don't know if anyone.
Call the
Call the question. Is anyone gonna vote against this? Okay, anyone on Zoom?
Any raised hands on Zoom?
Okay, I think I think that passes. Then item 3, you wanna talk about it? You like this, right? I know, I'm just gonna give you the harder one.
Oh, great. All right. So item 3 is, the concept of what's called low traffic neighborhoods. So it's a concept that is being put into practice in various locations worldwide, including London. And there are efforts by some groups to try to implement them in some circles in New York City. Basically, the concept is that it's intended to reduce the amount of cut-through traffic on certain streets to allow for traffic to slow down while adding more amenities within the street, yet not reducing any type of access or reducing the amount of parking. It's something that we didn't know whether it would be able to be applied to this neighborhood, and it was originally an informational presentation. One of our members then put forward a resolution asking New York City DOT to study this for potential implementation, and that is what the resolution we voted on is in regards to. So at the committee level, it passed, I believe it was, trying to get the number, was it 7?
5-4.
It was 7, it was
5-2.
5-2, yeah, 5 yes, 2 no's, 2 abstains.
Yeah, 5 minutes, right.
Okay.
So that was that, yes. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, move to table.
There's a second to that?
Second.
Okay, well, we
Okay,
have,
it's non-debatable.
right,
So
so now.
we
have
should call the roll, Tabling.
That's how, just for parliamentarian purposes, DJ has, that cuts off the conversation. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, if there's a straight tabling motion, then it's non-debatable.
The table,
You table to the time certain.
Okay, you need to roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Angelos,
Yes.
Ashby,
Yes.
Avatar,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Suarez,
No.
Ferrero,
No.
Camp,
Yes.
Chu.
No.
Cone,
No.
Coleman.
No.
Cormac, no. Paulson,
No.
Carver,
No.
Fink,
No.
Hartzog,
Pass.
Halpern,
No.
Christensen,
No.
Hussein,
Sorry, Sahari, you have a prompt to unmute.
Oh, sorry, no.
Later,
No.
Webb,
No.
Mason,
Yes.
McClement,
No.
Pearson,
No.
Michaels, but she's not on.
Michaels is
Yes.
Okay. Parsons,
No.
Phillips,
Yes.
Co-Marshall,
No.
Price.
Yes.
Rose,
No.
Rudder,
No.
Schneider,
No.
Stellington,
Yeah.
Stellum,
No.
Clay,
No.
Squire, Stein,
No.
Tamayo,
No.
Wald,
No.
Warren,
No,
Weinberger,
No.
Did you want to shift your vote? Marco wants to be a yes.
okay, Wiener,
No.
and then going to the passes, Ashby
Yes.
and Hartzog.
yes.
Okay, this is a 15 yeses, 28 noes.
Okay, so basically, the motions back on the table, and this is a study, yes.
Now can we discuss it?
Oh, okay, sure, you wanna
Yeah,
discuss it?
yeah.
No, you can't discuss it. One at a table, no, you get to.
Now that it's back, I'll tell you, I'm sorry we don't have the slide presentation, because what it basically is that a certain neighborhood could attempt not to have cars pass through it. So for example, you can take a block in the sixties, a block in the eighties, whatever would be studied and deemed what somebody would think might be appropriate. And then the DOT would do a map around that block or 2 blocks or 5 blocks, whatever it is, so that the traffic that would just be passing through that block to get to another block would be banned from passing through. That's why it's called no through traffic. Now, only the DOT can claim that when it blocks off streets or closes streets, that it has no effect on other streets or other parts of the city. You know that if you have a street fair, if you have a block closing for any reason, traffic backs up on all the other blocks. So to me, it flies in the face of logic. But the DOT claims, I've seen no evidence for that, that doing this would not have an adverse effect on the surrounding areas. Now, we're in the middle of Manhattan. We're not in the suburbs. We don't try to be the suburbs. If we wanted the suburbs, we'd live in the suburbs. So I don't really see that this makes any sense at all. And I also question, knowing how the DOT functions and how their studies function, that if they were to propose what they think are appropriate sites for this, I have a lot of doubt that the community board would have the input that it would like to have on making that final decision. I think all in all, it's a terrible idea. It flies in the face of logic, and I don't see the reason for it. Thanks.
Well, I think we should correct the record. They said in the presentation that this did not prohibit traffic from going through.
I know it said that, but.
I was gonna say,
But
can we let DJ who brought this to our attention?
they said that, they say that all the time.
Well, it does prohibit through traffic, which is people who want to use the streets to avoid backups on other avenues. It does allow people who own cars and need to get in and out of the neighborhood to reach their homes and parking spots. But it diverts traffic so that you can't go through. It doesn't keep cars away, and they can be set up without reducing parking even. So, you know, we know that we get a lot of cut through traffic. It's drivers that are not originating in the neighborhood or stopping in the neighborhood. They're just coming through. It gives us more noise pollution, worse air quality, more safety concerns, you know. Our streets should be treated like residential streets in our neighborhood, not the suburbs, but not through corridors either. So the concept is just some light street treatments to make it better for pedestrians, to still allow car owners in the area to reach their homes, and should improve safety and quality of life. This is for a study. It is not to go revamp the entire neighborhood, but just ask DOT to look at it. CB7 and 9 notably have passed resolutions, trying to study or even go further on these in their own neighborhoods. It's an idea that has gained traction and does exist in other cities and has worked really well. And if you've ever visited these areas in London, they're very nice and walkable, and I wouldn't say suburban by any stretch, but quite livable. There are definitely concerns, which is why we would want to do a study, which is hospital access, making sure emergency vehicles aren't affected, deliveries, local traffic needs, but that's why you do a study. So I don't want to talk all night, but a yes vote is to do a study. A no vote is saying we shouldn't even look at it. We shouldn't have any aspirations for how streets should look different. It's just a study.
And I'd like to say to Michelle, the other point, I believe that DOT would listen to what we have to say if they want to listen, because we have, on these kinds of things, we've had a very good relationship, and Danielle Bookerman, who's the new borough commissioner, has been very willing to work for us in this. And so I feel confident. I mean, I don't know they're gonna ever study this particularly, but if they had some suggestions, we didn't like them, I think they would definitely pay attention. Yeah.
We have,
Let me get up to Russell.
Okay, so before we even get to what the problem is that we're supposed to be solving here, you will never guess what the solution is. It is sticking stuff into the street because that's always the solution with DOT. So we've got bollards, we've got planters, we've got flex posts, we're extending the sidewalk into the street. And the obvious impact of that is to make it harder to drive. There's no question about that. There's a disconnect here with the aim of what we're supposed to be trying to do and what the proposed solution is. So there's no proposal here to make it easier for people to not cut through, to get around the other streets, to do anything that relates to that. There's no part of this that relates to changing the way that Waze routes people or whatever. The whole way it's contemplated to work is it's gonna make it so difficult to drive on most streets that people are basically gonna have no choice but to go elsewhere. But it doesn't actually solve the problem of people, you know, the traffic that you already have on these existing external, you know, edge routes that people potentially could take. And, you know, frankly, I don't think it should be up to DOT which blocks, you know, or which streets people should be allowed to drive 2 blocks at a time in a row on. There's also some pretty clear inconsistencies just in the description, like the idea that it's not going to take away parking, but it calls for daylighting. Daylighting, as I understand it, by definition takes away parking. I don't know what daylighting is that doesn't take away parking, so that's wrong. And it says it's not about pedestrianization, but one of the solutions that's mentioned is creating plaza blocks. If that's not pedestrianization, I don't know what is. So there's just clear inconsistencies. It sounds like we'll be sort of led down this primrose path. But again, it just comes back to no matter what it is, it's constantly people wanting to stick things in the street to make it harder to drive. And we're constantly coming up with new reasons why we need to do that in different areas and this and that, but that's what it is. And I don't think it's a good idea.
I gather you don't care for it.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll say you really feel.
Exactly. Look, when we were talking about this, they said it may not work in this district at all. That's the only.
Oh, it's sorry, it's also, it's not safer to stick things in the middle of the street, just for the
Well,
record.
depends what it is.
I mean.
Okay, I
yeah.
don't think you know.
Well, anyway.
I'll just counter that by just saying.
Well, if you don't count, you don't have to step away and be recognized. There's no countering, okay? There's no countering.
You don't have to.
Okay, you wanna step away?
I'm
You wanna step away?
I was gonna present a fact that is
No.
indisputable, that
Do that.
yes, as a parent should be able to.
Okay, well, what, you
The
said
fact
counter,
is-
you didn't say that.
I'm sorry, it is a fact. If you look at Hoboken, they have achieved literally zero, vision zero success in recent years
We're not
by
Hoboken.
limiting traffic related deaths. And largely it was through traffic calming measures that included things like you mentioned, Russell.
I don't
So
think this is appropriate.
you could disagree with it for many reasons, some of which you may personally,
Do you have a fact from New York City that you wanna say?
I,
Okay.
no, but
Alright,
that's,
so then that's.
but it's a,
It's a
it's
fact.
a fact.
It's a fact.
Okay.
I'm ruling it's a fact.
Okay.
Lori,
I just want to say briefly that, when this is a study, that we're talking about a study. And so we don't know what the actual outcome of this will be. And I don't think there's anything wrong with simply studying the problem. And I just want to point out that when we were all crazy and pulling our hair out about congestion pricing, and you know, everybody was nuts about it.
They
And
still are.
and probably are still nuts about it. But the fact is that it's working and it's doing what it's trying to do. So.
Yes,
all right.
it is.
All right, let's not have separate conversations. Lori is speaking right now.
Okay.
But there's a just, okay, what
Wait.
resolution says, the resolution was to look for possible locations.
no.
Not the stuff.
That was not
What is
the
the
Well, that
resolution
was the
say?
resolution in the committee, because it was supposed to be informational.
Option.
Well, there are
It
synonym
is
raised.
protected with it, particular.
Looking for possible
says.
locations, which mean options. We call it questions.
Sharon, let's say Sharon had hand up.
Yeah, thank you.
You just called on
First of
me,
all, I
Fran.
want,
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, but Sharon had her hand. Yes, go ahead, Sharon.
oh, okay. First of all, I'm going to support this resolution because I think that we need to look at these types of studies and have them performed. But I do have one problem with it. And this is something that I would like for the Transportation Committee overall to look at. And the one problem that I have is I'm not sure of whether or not, for example, if there is a decision to apply this overall, there are individual decisions as to which communities and which blocks that this would apply to. So my recommendation, by the way, and I would like for the Transportation Committee to look at this, is to apply Sammy's law citywide. And Sammy's law citywide already reduces speed limits to 15 miles per hour. And so I think that. I know, this is not very popular, but I do have the floor.
But
I
but
think.
it's a little bit off the topic.
This is what we should be doing.
Okay, Jane, I recognize Jane.
Call the question.
Okay, question can call.
Okay, I think we're doing a roll call.
I think we'll.
I think so.
What is the resolution we're voting on?
The resolution is in your tablet. I'll read the resolve.
Yeah, read these.
Community Board 8 Manhattan supports efforts to reduce through traffic on residential streets and calls on the New York City Department of Transportation to study options for low-traffic neighborhood treatments in Community District 8, with a particular focus on select residential blocks near schools, parks, and areas where cut-through traffic creates safety concerns. So that's the resolution. Who cares what the whereas buses say at this point? That's what you're asking.
Remember this.
Anderson.
No.
Angelos. Ashley.
Yes.
Avasar.
No.
Doesn't know.
Not yet, no.
She's passing.
Barron. No. Burnbaum. No. Flores.
Yes.
Ferrero.
No.
Camp.
No.
Chu.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ashley, I skipped you. Oh, three hands up?
I'm changing my vote to no.
No. No, okay,
Thank you.
Cone.
No.
Coleman.
No.
Cormac, yes. Paulson.
Yes.
Barber.
Abstain.
Fink.
Abstain.
Hartzell.
No.
Alford. Urgensen.
Yes.
Hussein.
No.
Later.
Yes.
Lev.
No.
Mason.
No.
McLennan.
Yes.
The internet just cut out, everyone, so sorry, this is.
Who's that for McLennan? Does anybody know?
It's Meyerson. I just didn't have to report it.
That's okay.
McLennan, I'm sorry, will you repeat?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, Meyerson.
No.
Michaels.
No.
Marshall.
Yes.
Phillips.
No.
Hope Marshall.
Yes.
Price.
No.
Rose.
No.
Rudder.
Yes.
Sanchez. Or excuse me, Schneider.
No.
No.
Seligson.
No.
Selim.
No.
Slay.
Yes.
Squire.
No.
Stein.
Yes.
Tamayo.
No.
Wald.
No.
Warren.
Yes.
Weinberger.
Aye.
Sharon.
That's his name.
Did you say?
Yeah.
I as in yes, but it's easier for me if you say yes and no. Angelos. Avatar.
No.
Okay, so in, a vote that's not adding up because the internet isn't working, I will report to you in a minute, but it looks like the no's have it.
You have another resolution? Well, thank you very much for,
The discourse tonight. It's 1526. Okay, landmarks, let's bring it home. Because we have the executive session we have to do. Yeah.
I'm gonna go first, I just think it's so odd, to figure I'm standing up here, each presenting one resolution. The first resolution is for 3163rd Street. This is a house that was built in the late 19th century and then remodeled in the early 20th century by Painter and Thaddeus, who were well-known architects in New York City and later in Palm Beach. In any case, the committee voted this resolution, this application down as we did in January, because the presentation really was inadequate for us to make an accurate decision on what the rooftop horizontal extension was really gonna look like. There was no mock-up that would show an image from the front street level looking at the building. The only times they showed us pictures were with lots of trees and it was just a rendering, it wasn't an actual photograph when the trees were really out. And we also were disappointed that the applicant did not want to put wood windows in the horizontal extension. So please read the resolution, it's in your packet. It's very hard to judge, we felt the building deserves something better. Thank you. Marco.
I'm going to speak in favor of this application. This applicant has a return for a second review. Let me be very clear. This is not a rooftop addition because there is already a certificate of occupancy for the 5th floor. The proposed horizontal expansion maintains 3-foot setback at the front and 7 feet setback at the rear. From the street, visibility is minimal, only 12 inches, and the asymmetrical front windows are not visible. Although the application process metal windows, proposes metal windows, the applicant is willing to switch to wood windows with 6/6 configuration. Finally, it is important to note that the trees are irrelevant to this discussion. I should not affect the evaluation of the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Anyone else want to comment?
Have Alita on Zoom.
Alita.
Thanks. I just want to say that the trees are not irrelevant. We pointed them out in the fall and asked him not to have the trees, and they did it again anyway. The additional horizontal, whatever you want to call it, is visible from the street, and it shouldn't be. So that's why I voted no, and I believe that was why the committee most of the committee voted no, almost the majority as well. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Alita. Yes.
Point of information, I'm confused about the way this is listed. It looks like Alita was against the disapproval.
No, Alita voted to disapprove. It's the resolution is a disapproval.
Right.
Her name is in two places.
Oh,
Right, and my name isn't there.
And my name is in two places.
Well, I did put your names down in the draft. I'll look into that. I'm so sorry.
There are two places.
And, Miles, our jazz musician who wasn't there.
All the question.
Second.
He's gonna give us all a tape though of his jazz music.
Somebody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Question.
Yes.
Any opposed on Zoom, raise your hand.
Wait a minute, are we voting on the substance of the amendment, or that was?
We're voting on the, application as presented, which was an unfavorable.
Right, so a yes is a no.
Thank you.
Exactly.
So everyone's voting to disapprove.
No. Who's voting to
Okay,
approve?
so how many votes to approve? Chuck, Adam,
Approving the disapproval.
Oh, yes. Who's voting no on the resolution?
Who's voting no on the resolution? Raise your hand.
Okay.
Adam, Marco,
Addison on Zoom.
Chuck Warren. Sherry
Why don't we take
Egan.
the roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is.
Just
All right,
for-
let's set the vote roll.
All right, Anderson, yes. Angela. Ashby,
Yes.
Avisar,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Abstain.
Boris,
No.
Guerrero.
No.
Ham,
Yes.
Chu,
Yes.
Cone,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yeah.
Paulson,
No.
I'm sorry, Cormac I missed.
Yes.
Paulson, no. Barber,
No.
Bing,
No.
Hartsog,
Yes.
Halpern,
Yes.
Hershenson,
No.
Hussein,
No.
Later, yes. I mean, no, I'm sorry. Glad,
No.
Nathan,
Yes.
Clements,
Yes.
Ryerson,
Yes.
Michaels.
Jennifer?
Yes, sorry about that, yes.
Okay, Marshall,
Yes.
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes. I don't know why.
Pope Marshall,
Yes.
Price.
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Rudder,
Yes.
Sanchez, I mean Snyder,
Yes.
Seligson,
Yes.
Salam,
Yes.
Slide.
Oh.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
No.
Thank you. Squire,
Yes.
Stein.
He's
Gone,
yeah.
okay. Tomato,
No.
Wald,
No.
Warren,
No.
Weinberger,
No.
Weiner,
Yes.
passes 27 yes, 14 no, 1 abstain.
Okay, so that's a disapproval then. Okay, thank you. Next.
Next item is 680 Madison Avenue. This was built originally in 1951 as the Carlton Hotel. Interestingly, it was done by Hy Feldman, the architect. He was renowned for all of his white brick and red brick apartment houses. A very talented architect of that golden period when decoration was frowned upon. However, he designed the Carlton. He designed a hotel that actually had a lot of visual interest, and that really looked back back in the 30s when people really thought about decorative aspects on a building. 15 years ago, while you've seen the base, as it's seen the base as it exists. What happened 15 years ago is that Byron and Bell, renowned for their renovation plans and buildings, was called in, and they changed this to a retail base with residential above. So when you look at it, you can see that, well, actually, this is the existing storefront now. What you can see is that, well, let's give you one more piece of information. When Byron Lindenbelt changed it, they eliminated the second floor, so they could get a taller first floor and they could get a taller second floor. And then they did an interesting stepping of the second floor without having to change the fenestration. So the way it exists today, this is the Byron Lindenbelt, and it's very, very close to the original Hy Feldman design. And yet they opened up to achieve a reasonable amount of retail. Let's go to the next.
Okay, good.
This is what is proposed. The idea is from a retail point of view, they want to make it as transparent as possible. And you can see that they've opened it up as much as possible on the ground level. They've also opened it up on the upper level. Essentially, what they've done is created a whole series of single pane windows as large as possible, wherever they could be made as large as possible. Let's go to the next. So this gives you an overview of the building, because you really can't think about the base without looking at the overview. And in this particular case, with the current here and then the original 1951 building, you can see that it's very close, and yet it does the job of opening it up for the retail. Let's go to the next. What they tried to do, obviously, is open it up even more for the retail. It almost looks like they've applied 2026 contemporary design on top of a 1951 building. It's possible to have done all of that and possibly done it more in keeping with the original character of the building. So I think that it was very, very close. Only one vote separating those in favor of disapproving, because we felt that they could have done the retail, opened it up, and still done it with much more in the character of the original building. When you look at this today, the way they're proposing it, the base has very little to do with the top of the building. So, anyway, yes.
My question is this a landmark building or
Yes,
the only?
this is in the landmark district.
No, that's.
It's
okay.
not an individual land.
Not an individual landmark.
Okay.
Well,
That-
we get into an argument here, but quite frankly,
No, I'm.
an individual landmark is treated, a building in a landmark district is treated no differently than a landmark building. So the fact that the building is on landmark, but it's in a landmark district, does not change the way you have to think about it. Right.
Okay, maybe, okay.
And I just wanted to add one piece of information, or can step away if you
No.
prefer.
Please.
And that is that all of the windows in the building
No respect.
are casement windows. And the casement windows provide a pattern of texture for the entire building. And removing those casement windows from the base completely, and there's something we talk about in preservation, which is a character defining element. And the casement windows are a character defining element of this building. And it would be just as what they're proposing is just as destructive as getting rid of all of the casement windows and replacing them just with great big pieces of glass, which present the effect of just a hole in the wall rather than an overall texture that sits just behind the windows.
What Anthony is saying is in the resolution.
Yeah.
I think that was a very major issue for all of us.
Call the question.
All in favor? Okay.
It's a disapproval.
Yes to the disapproval.
Yes, it's
All-
I'm sorry, point of order. It shouldn't be called prematurely without no discussion, especially if there is two points of view.
Discussion.
It was called the question, I'm gonna accept, but the point is, you cannot call prematurely
You
the
can call
discussion.
the question
Thank you.
whenever you want to. That's the parliamentary rule.
Anderson,
Yes.
Angeles. No. Ashby,
Yes.
Avisar,
Yes.
Barron,
No.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Boris,
No.
Guerrero,
Yeah.
Ham,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Hone,
Yes.
Cormac,
Yes.
Paulson,
No.
Barber,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Halpern,
Yes.
Hershenson,
Yes.
Hussein.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What was that?
that was a yes. That was a yes, okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, later, no, Webb,
No.
Mason,
Yes.
McClement,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Michaels,
No.
Marshall,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Pope Marshall,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Rudder,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Seligson,
Yes.
Salam,
No.
Slay,
No.
Dwyer,
No.
Tomato,
No.
Wald,
No.
Warren,
No.
Weinberger,
Oh, sorry, Sam, you're unmuted now.
No, no, it's all good. No. Thanks.
Argento and Carolyn.
Yes.
all right. Again, 27 yes, 14 no.
It's disapproved.
The next one, the last one. Is, whoops, let's make that a little smaller.
There we go.
Okay, let's look at this guy. These are the, essentially this is a 1940 tax photo. This is from around the same period. This is a tiny house. It is 25 feet square, and as you can see, 3 stories high. It's almost a cube. It's 25 feet wide, 25 feet. And it was built in 1938 in order to protect not this apartment house, but the apartment house behind it, I think 965 Fifth. So that they would have a way to get their garbage out on 78th Street, that's here. And so that they would be protected from a taller building being built there. So they built it at the same time. It's gone through a number of very unfortunate changes. We can go to the next one. And what the applicants proposed was to eliminate this door that had been added, who knows when exactly, and replace it with a matching window. In other words, restoring the original condition, turning these pairs of windows into pairs of French doors. All of the new windows and those French doors will be wood, which is something that our committee cares about a lot. These are 6/6s as the original windows were, replacing these single pane holes in the wall. The problem is that to get access to the roof and not completely change the stair bulkhead has to come up. And so the applicants proposed an open roofed canopy for the upper floor, which is marginally visible, frankly. This is an elevation, so you see about that much of it from the street. And otherwise, they are restoring the building. Go to the next one, which is the last slide. This is the exterior as it is today. This is an effort to improve it. Did I do that right? Yes.
Yes.
And so that there are more operable windows to make this very small space more usable front and back. And this was approved 9-1, the one being Adam, who hates the building so much that the only thing that would have satisfied him would have been its total destruction. Is that fair?
I felt that the building itself represents an uninterrupted street wall. I think that there's no way any addition's not gonna be visible from the street. I described the building as a barnacle on East 78th Street, which I've lived on for many, many years, all the way not this far west. So I don't like the building to begin with, and I thought that this addition didn't help anything. And that's it.
Okay, otherwise it was nine yes.
You have, it looks like 3.
No, yeah,
It should be 10. We'll take care of it.
We'll change. It's 9.
Oh, it should be 10-1.
No, it's actually 9-1.
9-1.
There were only
We'll correct it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a single digit was correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark, I'm gonna call the question.
Okay, premature, Marco. No.
Sweet.
Sorry, I'm just.
Is it possible that this one is everyone vote Adam?
And I'm gonna vote with Adam. I don't want to be alone.
I feel like we should deny this on the basis of they should be proposing like 2 or 3 extra stories here.
Well,
We're not being
if they
ambitious
did,
enough.
We could say no in good conscience, but.
It's only 2 no's. I think everybody is yes, right? So, all right. So
Any
noted.
no's on Zoom, raise your hand, seeing none.
Okay, I got one more thing to do.
Yeah, we need people in the room to do this executive session. Except for the public.
Yes.
For the public, we're so happy you came tonight. Thank you very much. And look at our calendar for next time, when they want to come back. Thank you.
Members of the public on Zoom will ask you now to leave the meeting.
Say, and I should say, transportation, and to be honest, thing that we did Boston, was taking the initiative to do something, while they was even come out the way you wanted to tonight, I hear that if. I would appreciate the initiative, for, especially for someone who has a, thank you.
Okay. We're going to go into executive session now. That requires some Zoom adjustments. Hang tight.
Hopefully this won't take long. It's important. We need our staff. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you.